So, you're probably pretty on top of your money. You've got a budget for groceries, for rent, maybe even for your daily coffee. But what if I told you there's a huge expense that's not showing up on your spreadsheet? It's this silent drain on your bank account, a phantom charge that hits when you're least expecting it. This is the real financial cost of neglecting your mental health. It's in the promotions you don't get. It's in the surprise medical bills that show up at your door. It's hiding in the opportunities you were too exhausted or anxious to grab. For years, we've been taught to keep mental health separate from the real world of work and money. But the data, and the lived experiences of millions, tell a totally different story. Ignoring your mental health isn't just bad for you, it's incredibly expensive. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on these hidden costs. We'll break down exactly how things like anxiety, depression, and burnout are messing with your wallet. And, most importantly, I'll show you why taking care of your mind might just be the single best financial investment you ever make. The vicious cycle. Unpacking the problem. Before we get to the dollars and cents, we have to understand the engine driving this whole problem, the vicious cycle between financial stress and poor mental health. It's a brutal feedback loop that can feel impossible to break. It starts simply, worrying about money is stressful. A 2024 Discover survey found that 4 in 5 Americans feel anxious about their financial situation, and for many, that anxiety isn't getting any better. This isn't just a passing worry, it's a chronic stressor that can kick off or worsen conditions like anxiety and depression. And this is where the cycle really digs in. When you're in the middle of a mental health struggle, just managing your money can feel like climbing a mountain. Depression can completely kill your motivation to open bills or make a budget. Anxiety can cause decision paralysis, where you're just too scared to make any financial moves at all. For some, impulsive spending becomes a way to get a quick dopamine hit, a little break from the emotional pain. Of course, this just leads to more financial problems, more debt, missed payments, dwindling savings. And that, in turn, creates even more stress and anxiety. Your mental health gets worse, which makes managing money even harder. Each side feeds the other, creating a downward spiral. If this sounds even a little bit familiar, I really want you to hear this. You are not alone, and this is not some kind of personal failure. It's a well-documented struggle that millions of people are right there with you on. The hidden cost. Your paycheck takes a hit. The first and most direct hit comes straight from your income. When our mental health is struggling, it torpedoes our ability to work, and the cost is enormous. Recent groundbreaking research from economists at Columbia, Yale, and the University of Wisconsin estimates that the total annual economic cost of mental illness in the US is a staggering $282 billion. That includes everything from lost productivity and lower investment to other major socioeconomic impacts. This happens in two main ways: absenteeism and presenteeism. Absenteeism is what you'd expect, taking sick days because you're too overwhelmed or depressed to get out of bed. One Gallup analysis found that workers with fair or poor mental health take nearly 12 days of unplanned absences a year, compared to just 2.5 for other workers. Depending on your job's sick leave policy, that can mean money straight out of your paycheck. But the bigger, sneakier cost is presenteeism. That's when you physically show up to work, but you're not really there mentally. You're just staring at your screen, totally unable to focus. You're snapping at coworkers. Your productivity is in the basement. You're just going through the motions. A 2024 report found that about a third of employees say financial stress hurts their ability to focus at work, with workers spending an average of 8.2 hours per week dealing with personal financial issues on the clock. All of that means you get passed over for the promotions and raises you deserve, directly holding back your career and your earning potential. Over a lifetime, this erosion of income is huge. It's not a reflection of your talent or your ambition, it's a direct result of an untreated health condition. The hidden cost, the mountain of medical bills. The next major cost is the one that can completely blindside you: medical bills. The cruel irony here is that ignoring your mental health often means you end up needing more healthcare, not less. When mental health conditions aren't treated, they often get worse, sometimes hitting a crisis point that demands expensive emergency care or a hospital stay. On top of that, our mental and physical health are deeply connected. Chronic stress from things like depression can show up as real physical symptoms, and it can make existing conditions like heart disease or diabetes much worse. That means more doctor's visits, more prescriptions, and more complicated treatments, all driving your healthcare costs way up. But maybe the most damaging part of all this is medical debt itself. The stress of owing money for healthcare can, all on its own, tank your mental health. It's a trap. A shocking 2024 study from Johns Hopkins researchers found that people with existing medical debt are about 5 times more likely to avoid getting the mental health care they need because they're afraid of the cost. The study showed that about a third of people with medical debt went without mental health care they needed, compared to just over 6% of those without medical debt. This decision to skip care to save a few bucks almost always backfires. The underlying condition gets worse, the eventual need for care becomes more desperate, and the final bill ends up being even higher. It's a debt spiral fueled by despair, trapping you right in the middle. Okay, I know this is heavy stuff, but if any of this is hitting home, it's because these are real, shared experiences. If you think these conversations matter and you want to help break the stigma around money and mental health, do me a huge favor, take a second to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. It truly helps us keep doing this work and sends a message that these topics need to be talked about. The hidden cost, the silent thief of your future. The costs we've talked about so far, lost income and medical bills, are immediate and painful. But there's a quieter, long-term cost that can be just as devastating, the theft of your future wealth. Think about what it takes to build financial security, long-term planning, consistent habits, and the ability to make clear, rational decisions. Poor mental health is a direct assault on all three. When you're dealing with depression, the future can feel like a vague, hopeless concept, which makes saving for something like retirement feel pointless. When you're fighting anxiety, the stock market can feel like a house of horrors, causing you to avoid investing and miss out on years of growth. Research actually shows that mental health struggles are linked to a lower chance of investing in high-return assets, which has a massive impact on how much wealth you can build in a lifetime. Even the basic executive functions you need for managing money, organizing paperwork, comparing insurance plans, negotiating a bill, can feel completely overwhelming. This can lead to something experts call financial avoidance, where you just stop dealing with your money because it's too stressful. You don't open the mail. You don't check your bank account. You just hope it all goes away. This is not a character flaw. It's a cognitive symptom. Poor mental health can literally impair our ability to weigh options and risks, leaving us wide open to impulsive choices and bad financial planning. Over decades, the impact is staggering. It can be the difference between a comfortable retirement and a future filled with constant financial worry. Transition to solution. So, we've laid out the problem, and it can feel pretty bleak. We see the costs stacking up in lost paychecks, rising bills, and a future that feels less secure. But here's the thing, seeing the problem is the most important step towards solving it. So, what do we actually do? How do we stop this cycle and start building not just financial wealth, but mental wealth? It starts by changing how we think about the solution. We have to stop looking at mental health care as an expense and start seeing it for what it is, the absolute best investment you can make in your future. The solution, investing in your mental wealth. Foundational steps. Breaking the cycle starts with a few foundational steps that don't cost a dime. First, acknowledge the link, and drop the shame. Say it out loud, my stress is affecting my money, or my money worries are hurting my mental health. Just naming it takes away some of its power and changes the story from I'm bad with money to I'm dealing with a health challenge I can manage. Second, find support that actually works for you. No, This doesn't mean you have to immediately sign up for a $200 an hour therapist. There's a whole ecosystem of low-cost and free resources out there. Look into community mental health centers, university psychology clinics, and non-profit counseling services. Use free hotlines and warm lines if you just need to talk to someone right now. Explore mental health apps, many of which offer guided meditations, mood tracking, and CBT exercises for free or for a small fee. Third, break the silence. Seriously. The feeling of being completely alone is so common in both financial and mental struggles. Talk to one trusted person, a friend, a family member, your partner. Just sharing the weight of it can dramatically reduce the shame and is so often the first step toward getting help. The solution: investing in your mental wealth, financial strategies for a healthier mind. Once you start addressing your mental health, you can bring in some financial strategies specifically designed to lower your stress, not add to it. First up, automate your life. When your energy and motivation are low, let technology do the work. Set up automatic transfers to your savings account the day you get paid. Automate your bill payments for recurring expenses like rent and utilities. The goal is to slash the number of financial decisions you have to actively make each month. This frees up so much mental energy. Next, adopt a tiny habits approach to money. If the idea of a full-blown budget makes you want to hide under the covers, then don't do it. Start smaller. Absurdly small. For just 1 week, track your spending in only one category, like takeout. Or commit to one tiny action, like just checking your bank balance every morning. These small wins build momentum and prove to yourself that you can engage with your finances without it being a total disaster. And third, my personal favorite, build a financial first aid kit. This is a plan you make for your future self when you're feeling clear-headed, for the times when you're not. It can be a simple note on your phone with a list of cheap, comforting meals to make so you don't default to expensive delivery. It could have the number of a friend you've agreed to call before making a big impulse purchase. It might even include a pre-written script to use when you need to call a creditor to ask for a payment plan. You're giving your future, stressed-out self a roadmap to get through tough moments with less damage. The hidden costs of ignoring your mental health are very real. They're hiding in plain sight as a missed promotion, an unexpected ER bill, or a retirement account that never seems to grow. But these costs are not a life sentence. By finally recognizing the deep connection between your mental and financial well-being, you can start to break the cycle. This journey isn't about being perfect. It's about taking one small step and then another. It's about acknowledging the struggle without shame, reaching out for support, and building systems that protect you when you feel most vulnerable. Taking care of your mind isn't a luxury. It's the foundation of a healthy life and a secure future. It is the single most important investment you will ever make, one that pays dividends in every part of your life, especially your bank account. I've put some links to affordable mental health care resources and financial wellness strategies in the description below. But now I want to hear from you. What's one small step you can take this week to invest in your mental or financial well-being? Share it in the comments. Your story might be the one thing someone else needs to read to feel a little less alone. Let's support each other. Thanks for watching.